Hey everyone, Curated Expert Allie Staffen here, and today I'm talking to indie outdoor filmmaker Anne Cleary. It's great to see you again, Anne.
Nice to see you again, Allie.
I want everyone to get to know you a little bit more before we dive into the approach and the approach 2.0. So I have a few fun questions. Starting off, what was the first moment you fell in love with skiing?
I was a skier when I was little with my family, and then I went to snowboarding the dark side when it was cool. Basically a trend follower and want to do whatever my friends are doing. So switched over to snowboarding. And then when I went to University of Vermont is when I switched back over to skiing and really fell in love with it. We had a big group of friends that would go out on Tuesdays and Thursdays and over the weekend, and it was a really fun time. And so I think just the energy of being outside in the winter with all of the friends is what drew me to skiing.
When did you first pick up a camera?
Yeah, I probably first started shooting video 10 years ago. I think I've made like 60 films, short, and Approach is definitely the biggest project that we've done. But yeah, it just became a good way to document all the fun antics and things we were doing with our friends. It also gave me a little more control over who got space in front of the lens, because a lot of times that was controlled by who was behind the lens, and I wanted more agency over making decisions on who deserved to be front and center.
That's awesome. What was the first time you realized that you had made it?
I think definitely releasing Approach 1, like there were a ton of learning moments getting that film out the door, and showing up to the premieres and seeing how much people wanted to see what we had made. That felt like we had made it.
So as the first female director at Crankworks, do you feel that you were able to help pave the way for other female directors in the outdoor film industry?
That's a great question. As the first female director at Crankworks, that was a huge honor. It was actually in 2019, I believe. And then after that, Crankworks didn't happen again because of the pandemic until this past summer. And there were tons of women in it. And my friend Blake, she's a trans woman, and she made a film, and it was awesome. And I feel like they really made a push to get more women involved, which was a huge deal to me. I think I helped supervise their films, and basically all I did was say, like, it looks awesome and you're doing great, and if you need any support, I can help you with technical stuff. Because oh yeah, my friend Martha, she directed a film at Crankworks, and it was so good with Robin Gooms and Has Nation. So that was like, I don't know, it was cool to see all of these people be able to make a film. I feel like filmmaking is so such a form of expression. So there's always space for anybody who wants to make it, because it's really personal and everybody has different lived experiences. So the more people we can get making films, the more insight we'll have into everyone's how they perceive the world.
Yeah, that's incredibly important, especially in this day and age, being able to show different perspectives, because it's been kind of one perspective for so long. And I'm really excited to see where this industry goes, for sure. But being a woman in a male-dominated industry, what do you think the hardest part was of breaking out?
I guess I was really excited to be a woman making strides in the male-dominated industry, and I thought everyone was going to be really excited too. But I wouldn't necessarily say that people were. Like, it felt a little bit competitive as I started to do well. Like, at first I was making like cute little nice films, and that was great. And then all of a sudden I started getting budget over other people who were competing for budget. And then I think, I don't know, I guess what I want most is the support of everybody in this industry. And I also want to support everybody else in this industry. But it's funny how competitive individualism gets in the way of that.
Unfortunate, for sure. Do you think that those roadblocks are going to continue to still pop up, or do you think that hopefully it's moving in the right direction, that they'll start to go away?
I think I felt more supported for Approach 2 than Approach 1. I think people were caught off guard for Approach 1. And then this year, I feel like everyone's more excited because we've kind of made a name and people have progressed a lot just in their writing. And me as a filmmaker, we learned so much season one, and it was cool to see how we all progressed from one to two. So I'm not sure, but hopefully not. Hopefully, I mean, we got into Banff Film Festival this year, and last year we definitely got rejected from a lot of festivals. So feels good to.
Well, that was unfortunate on their part, and they really missed out. Gender thing could actually end up being an advantage in the future. Do you think that it was just still kind of have like no relevance or move towards having no relevance, whether you're male or female in the industry?
I'm definitely curious about the gender narrative because it's pretty binary, like women and men. And so I wonder if, like, I don't know, I was speaking with this consultant, Aiko Bethia, and she does a lot of DEI work in like equity space. She works with huge corporations, and she said something. She's like, what's your mission statement for Approach? And we said, oh, it's a female-led ski film. She's like, all right, you say female-led, I think white women. And so I guess I think it, yeah, I don't know, especially being in a place where I'm a white woman telling stories about disabled people and women of color, like it's more important that we look beyond just the gender imbalance, because white women will be fine. I don't know.
We will.
Yeah.
All right. You started the production company Mad Trees and said you were just a bunch of renegade nobodies. Do you think that still holds true today?
I'd say we're all very rooted in the outdoor space at this point. That was 10 years ago when we were in university just goofing around and working service industry jobs in multiple ski towns trying to build what is now a production company. But back then I had no idea what we were working towards. I think calling it a group of renegade nobodies stems from not being able to fit the mold, because there were so many outing clubs and outdoor ways of being, and we didn't really fit into any of those. So we like to kind of be our own entity and like build this new space in the outdoors that was a little less exclusive, and it didn't revolve around the good gear you had. It was more like the best gear you have is whatever's on your feet and in your hands. So I think that's where that stemmed from. So in a sense, we're still a bunch of renegade nobodies, but I do think we have come a long way since then.
There's just something in the air that I feel like everyone can just really feel the stoke and the connection among the athletes. What was it like to film with a group of friends, and were there any pros or cons?
Filming with my friends because I'm able to get an immersive shot that I think really tells the story of their character and what they're like. And because I know them so well already, I know what I'm looking for in terms of shots that really give people a slice of life and a window into their lived experience. And I think so much of filmmaking is character development. Like, for instance, this show Friends went on for like 10 seasons, and it was set in like 3 locations, but it wasn't about the plot, it was about the characters. And I think about that with our group because everybody is like so incredible, and they're all role models for me with their like attitudes and like mental determination and way of looking at the world. So that's definitely something that I like about filming Friends, is I have that information already, so I'm able to like try to document that to the best of my ability.
Pretty well, but I might be a little bit biased. You said at the Denver world premiere of The Approach in 2021 that this was a passion film for you. You've directed over 60 short films. Can you tell me why this one was so important and what drove that passion?
Anya coined this term. It's called chip fuel, where the chip on your shoulder like fuels you to go bigger and better. And I think, since back in the day when I wasn't able to be in front of the camera, and then I was like, I'm going to get my own camera, I'm going to film my own friends, and I'm going to figure out how to make this work. Like, I would say that was like 10 years ago. And at this point in the future with Approach, where I finally accomplished that. So I've kind of been working towards that for 10 years. And now I'm able to say, like, oh, we made the Approach film. That's like what I've been trying to do for so long.
Approach 2.0 was born from passion as well, or what was the drive behind that one?
2.0 was a result of all the momentum that we had from Approach 1. And we kind of sat down as a team after the film tour for Approach. We're like, what do we want to do next? And then we're like, we kind of want to do this again because we learned so much and there's so much more we want to do in the same space. So let's just roll into another iteration of Approach.
Others get out of these two films.
Hope others get out of the Approach. I hope that people see the Approach and want to feel empowered to either try skiing for the first time or get a crew together to go out and ski with. I hope, like, for people interested in a career in media, I hope that they can see that you can do anything. You can just go out there with your camera and make movies. Obviously, you need resources to get a camera, but I'm always like available for help, or I don't know. I just want people to feel encouraged to make something and do something and feel empowered to kind of tell whatever story they're interested in and sharing.
That's awesome. Really cool things that fit in our pockets now that are getting better and better at filming, which can make this a little bit easier to go into. But just like skiing, it is an expensive thing to get into. But glad that you're there to support the future generation. All right. Final question. What would you say to the little girl who picked up a camera for the first time?
I would say hold on tight because this is going to be a whirlwind and your whole life. Yeah, I don't know. It has taken me to the coolest parts of the world. I've met the most amazing people, and I've been able to build a space for myself and a career for myself, which has felt super empowering, and everyone should do it.
Well, thank you. Huge thank you to Anne Cleary for joining us today. Thanks for always saying yes, Anne. If you're feeling stoked to get out there this season, reach out to a ski or snowboard expert here on Curated. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more great winter sports content.